you can say cut into the microphone, whatever you need to
I
do,
can
and
say
then
what?
cut.
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 I thought I
There
could
you
say
go.
what? I thought this was a what did you say?
If these walls could talk, they'd order a martini, where experiences are shaken, not staged.
Well, you know what time it is. It's time for the martini of the episode.
I love this part of the episode.
I do too.
Well, I like a lot of parts of the episode. And I think we should let our listeners know that we're going to talk about the episode today, and I'm going to talk about the martini, but we also have a special guest here. So if we break into some kind of laughter and if we have to have two of these, then so be it. But today, the martini of the episode is, drum roll, the Nitro Espresso Martini. Delicious. I think actually before I say the ingredients, cheers to our special guest.
Thank you.
Cheers to Aiden. And poor
Cheers.
Aiden again is, not quite
there yet.
Uh-huh.
No, unfortunately.
But today, this Nitro Espresso Martini has Grey Goose, vodka, Kahlua, and a cold brew with some simple syrup and a vanilla cold foam on top.
I love vanilla cold foam.
Right?
That's great.
Again, didn't our guests that we had, Heidi, our first time, she talked about these espresso martinis and how she could have one for breakfast. I think I couldn't do that for breakfast. I could. But anyway, now we're having it today for this
Yeah.
episode.
And Kerry, you don't know this about me, but I'm a huge coffee fan. My family, we own this family business called Mythic Coffee. So I drink coffee every day. And I'm so glad that the martini of the episode is a Nitro Espresso Martini.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, next time let's use your coffee from your family's Squatch.
business.
I love that one.
Squatch.
You know what? I had the most amazing latte in Guatemala last week.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No milk. It was 50% hot chocolate and 50% coffee.
Whoa.
And they steam it. And it was absolutely outstanding.
Wow.
That sounds delicious. It's funny. Here you're talking about where you were last week, and now we're sitting in our studios. Today, again, we're back at Atomic Genius, which is right next door to Ideas Northwest Studios. And I think, I was going to start out saying we have our special guest, but Aiden, you mentioned we do, and his name is Kerry, and it's Kerry Yanasak. Claps, yay! And we'll get to who Kerry is and why he's here and all that good stuff as we run down this episode. Last week, you wanted to talk about the 3 types of events.
I did. Yeah. I don't remember. What were those?
They were the social, the corporate, and the festivals.
Okay.
Yeah. And, we're going to get to the festivals last because that's, again, why we have Kerry here. But, one thing the question is, and especially our event planning friends out there, we have some that are social event planners, and those are the people who do weddings. And, weddings are, somebody asks us, and I'm like, no, not happening. Never. And that's because they're very personal, and I like personal, but to a point.
Okay.
And with social, every detail matters because unlike a corporate event, this one is coming straight out of someone's own pocket, right?
It's true. It's true.
Oftentimes you might have $50,000 that you're going to spend on your wedding, and you are confidently wanting $100,000 worth of things, right? And that's a bit of a deficit, right? 50
Definitely.
to 100.
So.
We like the optimism, but that's kind of hard to, to grasp. But somewhere in between, the social comes in. We try to stay away from that, again, only because there's so many emotions that are involved with social. So if you are out there and you're thinking, oh, I want to be a wedding planner, you will be a social event planner, right? And I don't know if you knew this, but for 2 years when I first started my hotel work, I did all of the weddings. And so for 2 years, all I dealt with were brides.
That's amazing.
I wanted to rip my hair out.
I'm sure you did.
No kidding. Because I was one. But I did hire an event. I hired a wedding planner when I got married. And I was in the hotel industry planning events. So that tells you.
Did you help him out at all? I'm just curious.
I did not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you let him do all the work.
I did. And her name, and she's an incredible person, is Kelly Moore. She was, that's why I hired her. I just sat back and listened to what she said, and we would, do things as, collaboration. But I would say anybody who's getting married out there, they want to have a wedding planner. Definitely. Yeah. So that's your social. It's emotional. It's high expectations. It's Pinterest boards. So then what else? You asked me for the next one.
Yeah. Talk about corporate.
Okay.
What you do right now, right?
That's what we do.
Yes.
That's all Ideas Northwest. And I'll tell you, I am so happy that we have this, little niche that we are able to do the corporate business. Some of our clients, we plan events that are 500 people, and we've got some clients who are 10 people and they're high-end board meetings. But what I love about it is they have a clear vision. It's a purpose behind every decision. And I like those, clean lines that we talk about. It's still delivering something very meaningful, but it's also on the corporation's budget. But then there's the festivals.
The festivals. Let's talk about that.
One thing I wanted to tell you, though, an MICC, Martini and Coke Closet moment on those weddings, I want to tell you about 3 things. Can I tell you about those?
Oh, yeah. Tell me.
Okay. Carrie, did you know that I did a wedding one time? And it first started out, and it was a couple, and they were in their 80s.
Whoa.
Yes. And
Really?
they came in, the cutest couple I've ever met. And at the time, I was still working a second job. And
Now, hold on a minute. Is this a true story?
I swear.
All right. Okay.
So I was working at a florist, and this couple came in, and they didn't have any money. Again, here we go.
They're in their 80s?
They're in their 80s. They didn't have a lot of money.
Did they recently get engaged when that time
Yeah, I
happened?
think
Or
so.
no?
Yeah. And so they came
Okay.
in and they said, hey, we want to get married. And I was working for a Sheraton property at that time. And I wanted to make that the best thing they've ever experienced. So then I got invested. Then
Oh,
I
yeah.
went down that rabbit hole. I was their wedding planner. I was working for the hotel. I was working extra. And then I said, hey, I'll do your flowers for you because you don't have any money. And I thought, I'll pay for them.
Yeah.
Right? They don't have the money. I'll do the corsage, the boutonniere, the bouquet, everything. The day comes. They get there. What do you think happened?
They eloped.
No, but that would have been a funny one.
That would have been.
No, I forgot the flowers.
Oh.
Can you believe
Unbelievable.
it?
No
I
way.
know.
Stacey
You
Ringer.
guys,
This is the most exciting story I've ever heard. You forgot the flowers.
that bride, the 80-year-old bride, was so upset, and she started to panic, and I had to go get some flowers from the local Safeway and come back, and then I did make it. But anyway, that was one. I wanted to go under a table with a martini at that time. At that time, it was a long time ago. I probably would have taken some Boone's Farm and a twist cap. But anyway, the second one that ever happened is this bride and groom. They had to be the first ones into the reception before anybody could have anything to eat or to drink. They finished their vows. They left the church, and then they decided to take an hour drive. Well, everybody came to the reception,
And looked at the food.
looked at the food, couldn't get a drink. These people
What?
were so irate, and I could not do a thing. And then an hour later, in saunters the bride and groom. Most of the people left the reception. They were so mad. Yeah, that was the second thing that I was
Wow.
like, I can't do this.
It's a good one. I
And
like
then
that.
for the third one, this is the best one. And now you're going to know why we'll never do weddings.
Okay.
We had an ethnic wedding.
Ethnic. Okay.
And they had all the planning. I loved this bride and groom.
Define ethnic wedding.
Well, I'm going to tell you right
Okay,
now.
all right.
Okay, here we come. They bring in the night of the reception. I'm in my office. I always stay for all of my events, but I get the most frantic call from the banquet captain. And the banquet captain said, you better get your ass down here because they have brought a goat in here and they're going to sacrifice the
A
goat.
goat?
Oh
Are
my
you
gosh.
serious?
Swear.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh my
I
gosh.
see.
I would.
Okay.
Okay, I can
I'm
see
there.
why you would
Uh-huh.
never want to do that. That's crazy.
So
Sacrificing a
Okay.
goat?
went running. I swear I levitated. My feet didn't even touch the ground. I go running down there. I pull the bride and groom and the parents aside, and I said, this cannot happen. They're mad, mad, mad. I had the banquet captain go and grab the goat and got the goat out of there. The goat lived, and they did not sacrifice it.
Now, this wasn't discussed before, so you had no
No,
idea that they
they
were going
didn't,
to do
and I
this.
didn't even think about that. I mean, I was like, hey, I've had a roasted pig at events before, right?
Okay.
But that you're talking about that. It's maybe
Yeah.
a luau. It's, a celebration, not a live goat. Bah. No.
Yeah.
Okay, what? I don't know what that goes.
I've had goat. I've had freshly
gosh.
sacrificed goat in the middle of the desert in Rajasthan, the state of Rajasthan in India.
Well, see, there we go. I can
Not good.
understand that. Not in a ballroom. That's,
It wouldn't be any better there
This
either.
is at a wedding.
This is a
like,
wedding.
seriously.
Now, do you know why I don't like to do weddings? That's why I love corporate. They don't do that. But anyway, those are my MICC past
Moments.
ghost moments of
Yeah.
why I probably am the way I am.
That is
You know my goat story?
crazy.
What about your goat story?
You want to hear my goat
I
story?
can't
Yeah.
wait.
So it was
Let's
not
do
a
it.
wedding, but we're doing this camel safari. It was a 3-day safari in state of Rajasthan in India, as I mentioned. And we're in the middle of nowhere, and we're all on camels. And my son comes up with this idea that we should buy our little guides, there's 3 of them, a goat.
Oh,
So, for what? So they can butcher it and we can eat it.
Interesting. Okay.
And I'm thinking, can we order? How far is this there? Burger King around here? Maybe not too many in India.
Oh my gosh.
So they found this. So the word went out
okay.
that these rich Americans are going to buy them a goat and they're going to have a big party. So here camels from everywhere. These people come in. Sounds really remote, but if you looked over the hill, there's a big movie set up because they're filming a movie.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
living in really fancy tents. I'm thinking, I've got to sleep on a pad on a sand dune. That's a whole nother story. So anyway, so they pick out the goat, and now it's dusk, so they're going to slaughter this goat. And they put a big metal pan, container to catch blood, and everything comes out of this goat. So they slit the goat's throat and slit him down the stomach. So anything in this goat falls in this container, and that's what they're going to cook up for dinner. They were just really excited about this and cheering when they slit this thing, and I'm thinking, this is the grossest thing I've ever seen.
Wow.
So they cooked this up in this stew. So now it's time for dinner. And I'm trying to think of, I just ate, but no, I had just eaten. We're in the middle of nowhere, right? So it's a captive audience. We're going to have a goat stew dinner, whether we want one or not.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I'll dish up everybody's bowls and hand it to me. Now, they treat me really well because at that point I'm maybe 60, early 60s, but I was by far the oldest person there.
Okay.
These people that work in the desert, they look ancient, but they're like in their 20s and 30s, but they
gosh.
live out in the sand. They really do. They looked older than a
Yikes.
lot older than me. Just their lifestyle or
don't
where they
stay
live.
here.
So anyway, so I'm eating it, and they're really looking forward to my expression, which is anticipated as being the most incredible thing I've ever had in my life,
Right.
of which I'm trying to pretend that this is really, really good. Well, I don't know if you've had goat, but it's full
No.
of gristle. So in the desert, one of the things you don't have is a toothbrush or dental floss. So now between either one of my teeth, I've got stuff in there, and
That's
it's just
so gross.
driving
Oh
me
my gosh.
nuts. And so I'm eating, and it doesn't taste bad. And then I bit into something that had a very entirely different texture. And then I was reminded anything inside that goat went in that bowl. And some of it just went in that container. Some of it just went in my bowl. So I'm kind of like biting that. I'm thinking, okay, how do I very discreetly,
Run?
with 20 people
this-
sitting around, dump this
Spit
thing
it.
out? And there's
Yeah.
wild dogs. I said, no, not wild dogs isn't like hyenas, but dogs that aren't pests. They're just
Sure.
there. And you don't touch them because they got all kinds of diseases, and they're just looking at me, and I'm thinking, oh boy, they're going to have goat for dinner tonight. And so I would, dump it out when nobody was looking, more of it. And then they, of course, insisted I had more, but I assured
No.
them that I was stuffed.
Full.
Very
I went to
cool.
bed hungry that
Tapping
night.
out.
But I was happy to go to
Absolutely.
bed
It's
hungry.
worth
I
it
would
going to bed
absolutely.
hungry.
I would have
Yes.
narcolepsy.
Now keep in mind, there's
narcolepsy halfway
this
through
was
that
they hadn't
meal.
really invented all these little containers of alcohol to wash your hands with. There's no running water.
Oh.
There's no hygiene.
Here's the thing,
That's
Kerry,
crazy.
the difference with you and the rest of us in this studio is the fact that I want to go to a beach with a menu that's next to my table and a cocktail. I don't want to
Exactly.
go to any sand dunes.
Well, I can assure you I was reconsidering those.
I don't right now. Okay, well, that's a great
But
story
what we
too.
had for lunch
Oh,
Now, this is another thing. So
okay.
we had a lunch stop on the way. So my son and his buddies, they're all 20 feet away visiting and whatnot. And I thought, well, I'm going to go over and see what these guys are cooking up. Big mistake.
Why? You
I
haven't
wanna see
learned
what
your
they're
lesson?
cooking up.
No
so
street
they're-
meat.
So as you're stirring this soup up they're making, where do you put the label? Well, now in your home, you put it in your kitchen counter on
Sure.
the side of the sink, right,
Yeah.
or something. No, they don't. So they didn't want to drop in the sand
Right.
because it would get all dirty. So where do they suppose she put that ladle? On a dried camel turd.
Are you
I'm
serious?
totally serious. That's where they rested that ladle. I'm thinking, oh my God.
That's disgusting.
And then they would pick it up and stir.
What
This
wrong with
That was
conversation
lunch.
has gone
God.
down.
Yes. Anyway,
That's
lunch
terrible.
and dinner in the middle of the desert in Rajasthan,
Oh,
India.
God, I can't take it.
Given a choice between a 20-minute camel ride, 2 hours, or 2 days, take the 20-minute one.
Gosh,
There's
oh
no
my
food
God.
service provided.
Take the 20
Please.
minute and then get in a car and get into town as quick as you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of these things that we did say with this this episode. It's festivals and possible no filters with Kerry. And now
Yeah.
we have the camel turd
Yeah.
and the goat story.
On the
I love
taste
it.
of the no filter.
I
This
didn't
is
mean to
great.
trump your story. I mean, your
No,
story was
gosh,
really
no,
good,
you
but,
win. That
well, it
was
was very memorable.
yes.
I'm sure that
definitely.
was.
See, both with goats. Who knew?
Mm-hmm.
If there are any listeners who are out there that have any stories, don't send them to us about the goats. We're good with goats. So, what do you think? Should we jump into festivals, fellas?
Yes, let's
Do
do
it.
it.
All right.
Let's talk about festivals.
Okay. So, as I said, we have Kerry Anasak with us, the one and only Kerry Anasak. And he was the director of our Puyallup Main Street for how many years?
8.5.
8.5.
Wow.
It's a temporary job.
It's his temporary that lasted 8.5 years, and he changed the landscape of our downtown area.
Temporary.
You know, he's the reason. I don't know if you know this, everybody, but this is why we have Meeker Days for Ideas Northwest. It's our 5th year. It's because
Oh my
Kerry.
gosh.
Yeah.
I would say
Thank
it's
you,
because they
Kerry.
did such an amazing job.
Aw.
And first and foremost, they were willing to do it.
Well, remember the
not,
first.
not easy to find something. And they're right around the
True.
corner from our office. I said, great. And they had done it once before.
Well,
That's the best decision I ever made was to hire Ideas Northwest to do this.
that's very nice.
Well,
Kerry.
it's very true.
Thank you. Well, do you remember that first phone call that you made to me? You said, "Hey, we want to put this on." We were just coming out of COVID, and
Mm-hmm.
you're like, "We're going to do this in August." And I think I said,
You blew me off.
"Lose my number."
just about.
No, I just
What?
knew. Well, I knew
Pretty
that our
much.
schedule was really, really busy.
Well, no, you wanted to do a good job.
And I wanted
there wasn't
to do
enough
a good
time.
job. That is
And that was a very good decision to make
nail on the head.
for you.
Yeah.
It definitely worked out. And we
Good.
did get through the Meeker days, but I was scrambling. I'm not an events coordinator.
No, but you're a good
I've
partner.
been to Meeker days.
Yes. Well, now, you know, I don't know if you know this, but now we're up to 250 vendors. You know, it's the 3-day event. It's the 87th annual
Mm-hmm.
Meeker Days. And you've probably been coming to Meeker Days because you've grown up around here
I have
for 50 years.
maybe 40 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can go way back, things they used to do, like a
Goats?
country dance in the street outside the Liberty with hay bales all around for
Okay.
people sitting and the live music out there 30 some years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's, you know, I think that's evolved. We try to keep that nostalgia going.
You know, that year you didn't do Meeker Days, it was the year it was really, really, really hot.
Oh,
And I had this great idea about getting a couple car clubs.
yeah.
I want to get an Edsel club
Oh.
and somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't see them on the road anymore like you would have 25, 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So people that own them, they're long gone. Next generation either inherited them, but they didn't want them. They sold them, and they're really old cars.
Okay.
So I had this idea. We're going to do Edsel's over there by the Campbell Cornforth site.
Yep.
Edsel's, I can't remember what the other car was. But not a common car that you see very often. So I had reached out to these car clubs. They're barely hanging on, the car clubs.
Okay.
So I said, hey, I need you to come down, yada, yada, yada. I lined up a sponsor. So they are there on Saturday in Meeker Days. They have their sponsor booth set up, and they have all their little freebie goodie bags for all the drivers. And these people were all elderly,
Sure.
and none of them showed up.
Oh,
Zero.
Because it was too hot?
That's too hot. And we have our sponsor sitting there with all these good bags, and no cars on the street.
Oh,
Zero.
gosh. See, that is
Rather
a-
embarrassing. So that was me as the event coordinator. I'm
Now-
not going to do that again.
That is your, and that's also your martini in a coat closet. You're like, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here and go find a quiet space and
Yeah.
walk, work through that.
All that is to say you bailed me out. Thank you.
Oh, well, you're welcome. So now we're up to 250 vendors. You know, what goes into festivals, it's a lot of work. So I'm glad that you kind of tapped out, because with security, right? So working with security, working with the PPD, the city, getting all the bands with our 3 stages, you know, sponsorship. Sponsorship's a big deal. It's the only way that we can, you know, keep the festival going. And then, you know, placing all these booths. So we closed down the entire downtown area. So
Yeah.
placing those booths, I honestly, it's a lot of work. Thank God for Emily. Permitting, everything. But I will say one thing that I love about Meeker Days, and you probably agree with me, I think we've had this conversation numerous times actually, is it is the last free thing that families can come to. They can come downtown to Meeker Days and enjoy 3 full stages of cover bands. So if you like Pink Floyd, if you like Elvis, if you like Queen, favorite, you can come down here, and then you can also see some of the cheerleading groups and stuff. And you can go to the bouncy houses for free. Again, the sponsorship. And this year, I don't know if I told you this, I probably haven't yet. The Puyallup Tribe is sponsoring the Fun Zone.
Awesome.
So
This is great.
it is great. And the only thing that you need to do is if you want to get anything to eat, but let's just say you're on a fixed income, right? You've got like 6 kids. Then you bring a picnic basket and you go sit in the park. Okay, so that's a little bit about festivals. Now we got to talk about our
let's
guest.
move on.
Yeah, we're moving on. So, okay, Kerry.
Here.
Got it.
So we've talked about goats. We've talked about a couple things, but
You know, I was raised on a chicken farm. Do you want to talk about chickens? Okay, I don't either.
talk about
That's
one
fine.
more animal. Okay, where was your last trip? You just got back.
Guatemala a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Now the question is, why did I come back?
Yeah, why?
There you go.
Well, tell us why you went.
Yeah.
Why
Well,
did you choose
because I had
Guatemala?
nothing to do for about 2.5 weeks, and I was antsy to go someplace. I have a
Kerry
ticket in
never
my
sits
hand
still.
for Southeast Asia in the fall.
Okay.
I have a ticket in my hand for Friday to round trip to Zurich.
Mm-hmm.
Spend some time in Central
Wow.
Europe.
Like
But I
that.
had no place to go for 2.5 weeks, but I had to be here the Saturday before Easter because I had the distinct honor and privilege of being the Grand Marshal for the Daffodil
Yeah,
Parade.
I don't know if you know this,
Which is
Aiden, but
amazing.
he was our. It's very.
That's huge.
It's a big deal in this whole
Yeah.
area. He was the Grand Marshal. How
Yeah,
was
so
that?
it was awesome. It was really fun. It was by far my 70 years the biggest honor I will have ever received in my life.
Really?
Absolutely.
man.
What was your
That's
favorite
amazing.
part about the festival that day?
You know, all of it was fun.
'Kay.
It was an all-day deal. All I had to do was show up at the Courtyard Marriott downtown at by 9 o'clock, and then you know the day finished about 6:20 or so, 6:30 in Ording. And
Were you on a float or
I
in a
was
car?
in a car.
Okay.
Not mine. What was I in? I was in a 63 Continental with the suicide
Wow.
doors, for those of you who have been around for a few years.
Wow.
And so I didn't have to drive. Somebody drove. And then I had my grandkids with me. I have 4 little grandkids. They're all
Aw.
between ages of 6 and 10, give or take. Here and there.
Experience.
And I had 2 of them in Puyallup, or in Tacoma. And then there was going to switch off for 2 in Puyallup. So they didn't have 4 because I was advised by their parents, you don't want all 4 of these kids together in the car. And I didn't listen to them. So they all rode with me together downtown Puyallup, which was awesome.
Sure.
So then we said, well, let's repeat this in downtown Sumner. So halfway through Sumner, a couple of the kids, they'd had enough. Somebody touched me. Somebody sitting too close. Move over. And, you know, so we're right, 10 feet from the people on the sidewalk. And they're kind of looking at me, and I'm just kind of rolling my eyes. And, the parents are laughing because they know what's
Yeah.
going on.
Oh my gosh.
Doggone
That's
kids.
Hilarious.
But I didn't care. I mean, the parents are the ones that are upset. For me,
Right.
I'm thinking, they're just my grandkids. I don't care if they kill each other right there in front of them.
There you go.
Everybody down the parade, the biggest event in the history of the Daffodil Parade, 4 little kids kill each other. And to think that as a kid, I would never have imagined, of course, that I would have been the Grand Marshal of that
I
parade.
would.
I mean, it was
I would've
incredible.
known you back then,
It was
I'd
an
have
incredible honor.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, for sure. So retiring last year from the
Well
best job
deserved.
ever
That's
to
amazing,
that
man.
is kind of like I can go home now and die. Oh yeah, so I
Yeah.
went to Guatemala, which was an awesome trip. And the best part of it was I came back right before Easter. But if you have seen on either on wherever you watch anything these days, with PBS back in the day,
Okay.
these big Easter processionals that
Yeah.
are happen in Spain and mostly in Spanish-speaking countries. So I Googled this. I said, where are the most spectacular Easter, it's not
Celebrations.
parades, they call them processionals in the
Okay.
world. They said Antigua, Guatemala, which is where I was. And
Oh.
these things were incredible.
Oh, did you see him? Were you there
I was
for
there
that?
for them. Yes, I
Oh,
recorded
that's
them.
fantastic.
It was a very spiritual and moving experience. It wasn't for me. I was totally a spectator.
Oh,
But the
okay.
people engaged in it, you could tell they
Can
were
you, did
really
you take
into
photos?
it. Oh,
Will you
lots of
share?
photos
Okay,
and
we'll throw
pictures.
some, shouldn't we
It
put
was
some photos
so
up?
cool, and
here.
I thought, I can't
Okay.
believe I'm sitting there
Okay.
watching this and witnessing this thing. It was so cool. So Antigua, which is a very ancient city, incredible city, has a population of 10,000 people, 60,000 in the area. So as I was leaving to go to the airport on Thursday, they were closing the streets at 6 o'clock in the morning behind us because they were anticipating that weekend 1 million
Oh, geez.
people
Whoa.
A
to
10,000?
descend on a
No.
town of 10,000 people.
So, Kerry,
Wow.
can I ask you, what is travel like then from Seattle for our listeners? Is it easy to get to Guatemala?
Very easy. I had no problem at the airport.
Okay.
There's no problem with, the everything you read in the news. I
Yeah.
didn't experience any of that whatsoever.
customs was
very
fine.
Easy. Customs very fine.
Who do you fly?
Very, very technical these days. You don't
Okay.
even. I've gone to some airports in the last year where basically you walk up to and they scan your eyes and
Sure.
you keep on going.
Oh,
That's it. You don't
wow.
even see a person. So they're not
Oh.
stamping
Never seen
passports.
that
It's all done
before.
with your eyes.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I will say that with Clear, I have Clear and TSA. Now I don't even have to pull my ID out. I literally can do the same thing.
They scan your eyes?
They scan your
Yeah.
face.
Scan your face
Yeah.
as you go through,
It's
so
full
you don't
face.
even meet a person.
Right.
There'll be a maybe it's a TSA person. I have no idea. They'll be observing. They just wave you on. You know, my go-to place that's a hidden gem that I think the world is starting to discover
Okay.
is Laos.
Yeah, you love
Wow.
Lao.
I love Laos
uh-huh.
because it's really chill. The problem with Laos is that they now have high-speed trains from China and over to Bangkok,
Okay.
which is good if you're trying to go from those places. But what it does is brings lots of tourists now. Is those things, those Luang Prabang Lao, which is a UNESCO heritage city. That's where people tend to go in Laos. It's right on the Mekong River. It is a really cool, chill spot. You see a lot of expats there.
Sure.
They're either living there or they're just traveling through. And now they have high-speed trains, which bring tourists.
Yeah.
The problem is it's changing the face of Laos. So 10 years ago, when I first started going to Laos, that thing would be lined with tuk-tuks. Now it is lined with big white vans.
Tell Aiden what a tuk-tuk is.
Well, it's a little like, there's tuk-tuks many places around the world. They're typically three-wheeled little golf cart with a little cab on them. I
Oh,
guess
yeah.
some of them are different.
Yeah.
If you go to India, most of the tuk-tuks that people buy around the world come out of India.
So you're going to go with a friend of yours, and you
Yeah.
guys are going to go to next trip.
So we're meeting in Warsaw.
Yes.
So I'm going to Zurich for a few days to hang out with a former exchange student and his wife and a kid that I have not seen since I played the piano at their wedding in Zurich.
All right.
And then I catch up with Chris in Warsaw, and we do this little English language thing.
That's great.
He's done this a number of times, and I say, hey, when I retire, I'll go along with you. Now, my heritage is Polish. I know nothing about heritage.
Yeah.
I know one Polish word my dad taught me, and it is for the tool you use to open up your garage with.
Clicker?
No, garage key.
Oh.
Garage.
That's
Okay,
great.
that's
Otherwise,
hilarious.
no, I know no Polish
Oh my gosh,
words.
I think I've actually heard you say that before now that we're talking about
So
that
what
right now.
happens, they bring in 20 native English speakers
Okay.
and 20 Polish people that want to improve their English and put you up in a hotel, and all you do for 5 days is converse, chit-chat, skits, dinner, breakfast, whatever. Hang out there with these people that want to improve their English.
Okay, that's better than Rosetta.
So you don't get
Rosetta,
paid for
yeah,
you don't get
much
paid
better.
for doing this, but you pay your way to get there, but the
Yeah.
hotel and everything's provided.
That's pretty
So it's fun. And then
fabulous.
we're going to go to Krakow, which I've never been, and then a couple other places, and then
Then head
he'll
out.
be
That's
gone for a
So
month.
would you say that you're enjoying your retirement?
Absolutely. I left the best job in the world for a better one.
Wow.
Well, you are
I love
missed.
that.
Down here. I love that you are still part of the community. I was able to call Kerry. We had a bunch of things come in to be assembled for Meeker Days, a bunch of charging stations, and I called Kerry and a couple other PMSA board members and asked that they come over and assemble them, and you were right there. You jumped right in. So although you are retired and traveling, you still find time for for your hometown and us, because you did hire us. And if
do.
you leave us,
I
then
do.
you have to
I've
be here for
always
the
thought
sandbox.
well, I'll never leave because I always thought it was really weird that you would spend your entire working career here. You retire at whatever 62 or 70, and now you get your pension, then you move somewhere else. This is my home.
Yeah.
I'm happy and fortunate to be able to go see these other places. But I've got a nice home here. My kids are here. My grandkids are here. All my friends are here. I love
We're
it.
all
I can
here.
walk downtown from my house.
Well, and you can walk downtown and jump in any of the businesses or offices, and you're just
All these people were my
always
friends.
welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I had a great run at Main Street, and it was from the heart. My kids own a building right on the corner here,
Yes. Next
which
to ours.
I own and renovated,
Yeah.
and then I have an Airbnb around the corner. So I'm
favorite.
vested in downtown. I have a business and buildings, real estate downtown Puyallup.
Aiden and Caitlin, you haven't seen, or have you been to his Airbnb that's downtown? It is, if any of our listeners are thinking, I got to get to downtown Puyallup, they have a lot going on, you need to stay at Kerry's Airbnb. It truly is decorated, and the vibe, and there's a grand piano in there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a huge deck with Adirondack chairs. And then if you're a train enthusiast, there's a train that goes by.
Yeah,
every
no
once in a while.
kidding.
My gosh.
Right.
Yes.
It looks like it sounds like it's going to go through the bedroom. Well, you are our second guest, and again, you mean the world to us, and we just want to say thank you for being here and sharing that the travels abroad are okay, and that trend that's happening where you don't need to show anything. Are there any parting words that you would like to say to all of our listeners today?
Huh.
Huh. I'm afraid.
It's funny you say that.
Okay.
I was on this boat
mother of
from,
pearl.
I can't remember the name of the city, way up in northern Laos, 2-day boat down the Mekong to Luang Prabang. It's an awesome experience. But this bus picked us up, about 10 of us.
Okay.
So we're from Portugal, the Netherlands, United States, South America. I'm thinking where all these people were from.
Okay.
So we all ended up hanging out together, and it was so fun. But we're having dinner. Now these people, they're travelers, and there actually were a couple girls that were in their 40s, but for the most part, they're in their mid 20s.
Okay.
Well, I'm hanging out with them, and I'm thinking, I'm just privileged to be hanging out with these people, and they're hanging out with this old guy, and we're all drinking the same beer and
I think that
whatever.
every day.
Well, we have individual beers, but we're all hanging out together, right? It's fun, and we're telling stories. And one of them says, "Hey, Kerry, do you have any advice, since you're older than everybody else here, words of wisdom you would share with us?"
Yeah. Oh my
Okay, that
gosh.
just took a different turn.
Yeah.
I'm no longer one of them. Now I'm like their
geez.
chaperone.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny. So it really stumped me, and I really didn't know what to say, excepting enjoy your life, but plan for the future.
Yeah.
But have a good time. Don't go do some crappy job that you hate
Yeah.
and live miserably ever after. No, go enjoy your life. And then if you're lucky like I am, you get to be 70, hopefully 80 and 90.
That's right.
And you're in a position to do some traveling.
So I think, is this a wrap? Aiden, do you have any words of advice?
No, I
No.
mean,
Yeah, stumping you too,
stay
huh?
strong. That's all I
Stay
was
strong.
wrong. That's something that I need to keep on reminding myself.
Drink martinis.
I
Not
can't do
yet.
that yet.
Mocktails.
Mocktails.
Yes.
Drink mocktails
Well,
and
again,
stay strong.
any of our listeners that are out there, you can follow us on.
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and watch our show on Apple Podcasts and YouTube and Podbean. Soon to be on Spotify.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, again, cheers to you, Kerry Anasak. Thanks
Thank
It's
you.
been so nice meeting you.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having me.
Yeah.
I really like you, Carrie.
Well, thank you, Aiden. I
Aw,
appreciate
he's sweet.
that.
He's
I
the
like you too,
nicest
Aiden.
guy. Yes.
You
Well, I
seem
like
you
everybody.
seem harmless.
Yeah,
I am
he gets
harmless.
it unruly. Well, cheers, everybody. This is Stacy Ringer and
Aiden Sawicki.
you've been listening to Martinis in a Coat Closet. Cheers to ideas and martinis.